gentlemen, welcome back to another Stags Weekly Update. We're at training again. Just a bit of a heads up before we start this week with Mark. Weekly updates will now take place on a Wednesday. How it will work is that Monday, that's cancelled. Wednesday from now on. If we have a game midweek, there'll be no weekly update. Just focus on our commentary on Twitter, as that will be your sort of weekly update from us. So, without further ado, we'll hand over to me again as we take Mark through this week's updates. Well, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another weekly update. Mark, thank you for being with us again. Just again, fans, that we will now do our weekly updates on a Wednesday. And if we do have a midweek game, that weekly update won't happen. So, Mark, just on our first things that we've been revealed to today, our FA Vase Draw has been released, and yet again, it's an unlucky draw. We've drawn against AFC Welland, who are a very social media present team at the moment. What are your thoughts on that draw? Obviously away from home again, so a fixture away to 𝗕𝗨𝗖𝗞𝗛𝗨𝗥𝗦𝗧 where they play.
Well, obviously coming in on the back of that win on Saturday, Hoddesdon was below their position of like bottom of the division below. I know quite a lot of their players. They've got a few players out. They gave it a good go. I thought we were very narrow first half. I don't think we got up the pitch quick enough and supported the wide players. There was space in behind and we didn't take advantage of that. Changed a few things round at half time. Felt we didn't have a pivot in the middle, so we created a pivot, dropping Archie back in and pushing Tyler a bit higher. And then we started to get a lot more on the ball, and the two goals came. So, but like I say, credit to Hoddesdon, they gave it a go, never let their heads drop. So that obviously took us into the draw, which I think we thought was Monday, came out today. And obviously with away draws being a bit of a nemesis with us at the moment, we were hoping for a home draw, but it wasn't to be. We got a Step 5 team. There's a few Step 6 teams, but listen, you've got to play. If you're going to do well in a competition, you've got to play that. AFC Welland, I've kind of kept an eye on over the last couple of years. They used to ground share at Welling, and I think they got an injection of money. Not disrespect to that, you know, that's their prerogative, and they've done well. They've brought some really good players in. I know they've brought some experienced players in that have come from Step 3 and Step 4, and then they moved their ground share when they went up last season. They've gone to 𝗕𝗨𝗖𝗞𝗛𝗨𝗥, very nice brand new 3G as we saw on the tournament we played there. Now they've gone into Spartan, that used to be a very, very strong league. I would say stronger than the 𝗕𝗨𝗖𝗞𝗛𝗨𝗥 League over the last few years, but a lot of the really good teams, Leighton Town, 𝗕𝗨𝗟𝗡𝗏𝗏 have gone up. Still a strong league, but they've started very well, top of the league, beaten some good sides, and they got one in the Vase on Friday night. So it's going to be no mean task. I think it's going to be a very difficult game. I think, we'll obviously do a bit of intel on them. I already know one or two of their players. They're quite a big side. I think they want to try and play football, but I'll do more of that kind of, myself and Ted are doing that analyst stuff over the next couple of weeks, and prepare for it accordingly.
So just looking on that, obviously it's a tough test, but as you say, we've got to face these teams if we want to do well in a cup that sort of, now we're out of the FA Cup, we want to do well in the FA Vase, and also it can bring in money for the club as well. What does that mean for Buckhurst Hill in general?
Yeah, it's always, obviously the FA Cup pays a lot more money than the FA Vase, but if you go 2 or 3 rounds, and obviously if you get a decent home game, you can build up your money. But yeah, it's nice to have a bit of win money. Helps us with the cost of the club. Clubs are very expensive to run these days, and like I say, it'd be lovely to have a run in it. It is a tough game, but it's something nice to look forward to. I'm not saying the league games aren't, but they do get a little bit mundane. You just feel every week is the test, and you have to be on it. The cup gives you a little bit more of a little bit of excitement, something to look forward to, and something to keep the players going, that they've got something like that to play in.
So moving forward, 2 games coming up, and they're quite tough games. Halstead at the weekend, who have had a very strong start to the season, and then Romford next week at home, which is our first home game in a month. So how can that sort of impact our season? Obviously 2 games that can, if we win, it can drive us forward, push us towards more wins, but then if we sort of drop it, sort of can affect us. What are you sort of hoping for against 2 teams that are sort of doing well recently?
You look at the last 2 or 3 years we've been in, there's always been, which you could even say in the first season we went to the 𝗕𝗨𝗖𝗞𝗛𝗨𝗥𝗦𝗧 League, we were kind of in that bottom 7 or 8 teams. We finished 17th. But I always felt in that time there was a couple of quite weak teams. No shit for them, and they did eventually go down. The following season there was the same. This season, if you look at the bottom 3, and I can't recall who's there at the moment, but they're good sides and they've got some good players. So I think at the moment every game's competitive. Halstead I don't think started that well for the season, but Mark's very widely character the manager there. He's got very loyal players. They've got a good camaraderie, a good group. Turned it round. Very good home win against 𝗕𝗨𝗖𝗓𝗏𝗧. Very difficult place to go. Lovely people, very hospitable. The chairman there's a great guy. But it'll be a tough game. It will be a tough game. We'll have to. I just think, we're going through flat periods in games at the moment. I've said to them, it's the work's got to be out of possession as well as in possession, and I think you saw that at Harry's. You saw that a little bit against 𝗕𝗨𝗧𝗏𝗧, they were quite naive, giving goals away. Saturday, I think we, again, we didn't play at our best. I think there's more in this team, and we brought some other people in recently that it's hard to gel when you keep changing the side around. I think I said to you before, when we had that 10-game streak at the end of last season, it was virtually 12, 13 players. So we want to still get to that kind of base of having like just 14, 15, bring some youngsters in now and again. So yeah, Halstead is going to be a tough game. Romford is always a tough game. Cole there has got some really good players, with a lot of experience. So yeah, it's 2 very, very tough games on paper, but 2 games that I feel we get something out of.
So final things, just looking on, congratulations to Callum Maltese, who made it into the Essex Senior League Team of the Week. What has his impact on the team been this season? He's obviously been one of the most informed players in the league. How is it to have him back at Buckhurst Hill? Listen,
he's played for Buckhurst Hill in the youth team for many, many years. They were probably, I'd say, bar him and his dad's Brad and 𝗕𝗨𝗖𝗞𝗛𝗨𝗥𝗦𝗧, best 2 teams at youth football between them for many years. They won many Essex Cups between them. They had some fantastic players. They've had players that have gone on to play in the Football League. And his quality, he was at Norwich when he was younger, and he's come in. He did play quite a lot of his football below us for 𝗕𝗨𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏 with his mates. You do get that with players sometimes. They like to go play from players. And I think when he's come in, you can certainly see his quality. He's got fantastic feet, great on the ball. I think he's had to, and he's admitted that to me himself. Step 5's a lot different from when he was playing like step 7 at Waltham Forest. You don't get so much time on the ball. You need other players to come in with you, looking for overloads. As much as he's got great feet, but I just think now you're starting to see the real Callum Maltese. His ball control's fantastic. He's got a low sense of gravity, and I just think you'll see him get better and better every week.
Well, Mark, thank you for your time. Stags fans, we'll hope to see you next week against Romford. Reminder, we're the only game in the near area for the Essex Senior League that day, so make sure to come and support the Stags. We're hoping to see you get behind the boys. So, Mark, thank you for your time.
Cheers,
as always.
Harry. Thanks very much.
We'll see you soon. Thank you.